Welcome.
Yeah, welcome back to our Biohacking Wellness Podcast, and we've been racking our brains about the topics we want to cover for this particular episode, and we've kind of been all over the place about different things we would talk about. But let's start with coaching. Like, we're once again remodeling what coaching looks like and how we can best help people in the program get the most out of it.
And not just the most out of it. I think what I'm finding is you have the people that they just rely on the coach, which is fine. Like, I like helping people. But wanting the coaching not just to be a support system, but to be an education system so that people know how to make their own choices. So it's like, instead of just instantly texting the coach, can I have XYZ? It's like, no, just stop for a minute and think. Okay, these are things that I know I can eat. Does that fall into it? Sometimes things are tricky, but some things are pretty obvious. Can I have prime rib? Well, hopefully we've educated you that you can have any animal protein source.
Right.
That would be prime rib, so yes. Or after the toxins class, a lot of people like, well, now I don't know even what to put in my house. Like, I need you to tell me exactly what to buy. Which I get, because it's kind of like, it just seems overwhelming. But the point is to educate each person on like what ingredients we wouldn't want in products, what things we wouldn't want in our food. And then you can make the educated choice to know that. And I think that's what we're missing a little bit. Like, I feel like we're trying to do it, but it's not like going over as well as I guess I hoped. That the coach job, yes, holds your hand at the beginning, but the object is just to educate and inform, and everybody's a different starting point. Some people are ready to do everything. Some people are like, well, I'm just trying to drop this bad habit and it might improve a little, but I can't live full paleo right now. So there's just a lot of varying, so I can't say, I can tell you what I do, but maybe you're not ready to do that yet. So here's the knowledge. Right. Here's why you want to maybe lean that direction.
Some of the specific things that we talked about were the coaching. The coaching is there for accountability. Like, people need someone to check in with them to make sure they're still on. And that's, that to me, that's the bare minimum. Like, we want to educate people, just like you're saying. So going forward into the new year, I think what we'll do is we'll start doing some more content on why.
Right.
Hey, so when you're looking at the actual diet itself, for those people that are losing weight with us, it's because they're eating 4 ounces of fruit, 4 ounces of vegetables, and 4 ounces of protein. So if you look at that, there's not any room there for grains. There's not any room there for sugar. There's not any room there for dairy. So what we want to do is circle back and say, okay, why? Why is there no grains?
Right.
Hey, well, for this particular video, I think it suffices to say that grains aren't what they were 100 years ago.
Why is that?
Because we have to process them, we spray them with stuff, we've made them so they are no longer good for us.
Right. They're genetically modified.
In the whole genetic modification process, we've got to do a better job of telling people why there's no grains in that particular program, and why they're not there. So that's coming.
Yeah, I feel like some people get it and some people don't, because some people ask, and the people that ask, then we provide the information. But it's not just like, I'm realizing that maybe everybody isn't understanding why. They're just thinking, oh, these are the things that I'm eating for now.
Right.
I don't even think some people are processing, we're not eating grain. Or we're not eating dairy. It's just like, they're just hard grid on what they can eat, and not necessarily thinking about oh, there's no refined sugar in this.
Right. Well, and to be 100% transparent, I don't talk about that stuff when they come in to sit down.
Because it puts people in a panic mode.
It pisses them off. Literally makes them angry. Because when you start this program, there are people that have neurochemical connections with that particular food. So even if I'm not being rude or obtrusive, it's still your brain automatically goes into, I can't, I have to have those.
Right.
And so it literally will make people subconsciously angry. So we don't talk about that a whole lot. So that's maybe one thing we need to shift. And maybe I need to launch into that more.
Yeah, you gotta wear your big boy pants and not be afraid.
So, but that's particular for grains. Well, then there's dairy, right?
Because yesterday, this is a super fun conversation. But hey, dairy does the body good. And then we got laughing about like, is that marketing? Is there any fact to that? Is there truth in raw dairy being better for you? But what about all the people that say raw dairy makes you sick? I mean, so.
For the purposes of the program, we take out dairy because when you break down dairy, what is it? It's sugar and it's fat. And we're trying to burn fat off you, okay? So on an individual basis, there are people that have a severe autoimmune reaction to dairy. Like we know when you eat dairy. And you claim that you know when I eat dairy. Hey, but there are people that react to it worse than others. Hey, but at the end of the day, when those dairy proteins, and we're not talking about lactose, this has nothing to do with lactose.
And everybody thinks that, like, oh, just take the lactate pill.
At the end of the day, there's all these other proteins that when they hit your stomach acid, specific casein, when it hits your stomach acid, it becomes casomorphine, which... Morphine triggers dopamine responses in your brain, so you're addicted to it. Okay. What was the last one we said? We said dairy, grains, dairy, sugar.
Sugar, refined sugar. 'Cause, I mean, yes, you're getting sugar in fruit. Very different when you have a fiber source attached to your sugar.
Right.
And it's in its natural form than when you're eating high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar.
And all the other hidden names.
And all the other fake ones. Sucralose.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's multiple names for sugar.
And there's people out there that still claim that there's nothing wrong with these fake sugars.
Right.
And there's certain individuals that we know that have sent me articles in the last week about why there's nothing to back up why these fake sugars have a bad name. I still don't trust them.
Well, but that was said once about aspartame.
Right.
It's proven now. There's neurological...
This paper actually called out aspartame. I'm like, have you read anything else?
Yeah, so... And just stop and think about it. Why would a chemical substance be good in my body? Like, even if you just went hardcore simple, like, I think I'll stay away from food made in a factory or a lab or something like that.
Yep.
It's not going to be that good for you.
Right. So more of that stuff is coming, and we'll do a better job of just educating people from the beginning of like this is why the diet is the way it is, and it goes back to my old saying: God food heals, man food kills.
Right.
But yeah, look forward to that coming soon.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. So what do you think? If we were brainstorming it, we've got why we take grains out, why we take sugar out, dairy. What do you think are other important educational pieces? I think reading a label is key.
Yes.
So what are we looking for on a label?
So I think this is my thought process on this. We need to encourage people to get that app and use the app. Wait, what is it called?
The Yuka app?
The Yuka app.
Yuka.
It's got a carrot on it, so that's their logo's a carrot. And we just need to encourage people to go to the grocery store and actually use that. Because it literally, for you and I to sit down and sit here and make a list of things you should look for in a label, we'd be here all day.
Right.
Like this would be the most boring podcast. It probably already is boring. But
hey, I decided I like this chair.
Spence.
It's kind of like I'm in a recliner.
I'm purposely sitting forward.
I like it. I'm going to kick my feet up here in a minute.
It's impossible for us to go down and go through and list each individual ingredient.
True, but I think there's like some basics.
Right. So we'll talk about the basics, but for right now, get the Yuka app and go spend some time at the store just looking at things. Like we were surprised. Like we've got a teenager in the house, right? And he wants granola bars. So we started looking at granola bars and looking for a clean granola bar. Do they exist? They don't exist. But we were shocked that the Cliff Bar brand
was
much cleaner than some of the other trash ones around. So
and please, like the Nutri-Grain bars.
Oh,
whoa.
Good gosh!
I think they were like a 2.
Wasn't there like reproductive? There was chemicals in there that caused reproductive harm. Is that the one?
I can't remember.
Well, we need to go back and do that again.
Same with cold cereal.
Right.
I mean, there are some basics.
Tricks, for the love of all things human, please never buy. Like Tricks, that was awful.
Yeah, it was a 0. I mean, but these
Right.
are the
So-
basics from that. Like, I could realize that on my own because dyes are not good.
Right.
So if you're buying any food that has a food dye, that's on a label.
Just kick it out.
Stay away. If you're buying anything that has, you know, know what the names for sugar are. I mean, some of those you pick up, there's 6 names for sugar, and wow, you've got like 26 grams of sugar in a bar.
Right. So last night I went to the high school basketball game, and I was sitting pretty close to the bench behind them and watching these boys grab body armor on their timeouts.
Right. Because
It's
it's better for you than Gatorade.
bull. They're both look. The only one that we have found that's clean is Element.
Well, there's a couple.
Well, that's the one that we thought
Yes.
was the best. But these boys are just grabbing, and it's nothing more than sugar with not enough salt
Right.
and food dye.
Right. And even the low cal, because now Body Armor has it's a low calorie or it's a light version. But you have to realize, and people are like telling me, well, they like it because it's still sweet. But okay, if something tastes sweet and it doesn't have sugar, then it has chemicals that taste like sugar. So like we're still not doing our bodies any good, and we're usually missing the best things of an electrolyte. Like, why are we drinking electrolytes in the first place? Magnesium, sodium,
And
potassium.
Right.
So just find those in other versions. I haven't looked it up. Our son sent us one today. A kid actually calling out, a guy on Instagram calling out liquid IV, which I've actually looked at before
it's
too,
trash.
which is horrible. And he said, this is an electrolyte. It's liquid sugar.
Yeah, that's the first ingredient. Sugar is not an electrolyte.
Right. Why do people think that? That is like a big misconception, I think. It's the same as the gym. Eat gummy bears after your workout. Like, it's sugar. Your body
Swedish
needs
fish.
sugars. And it's like, it's not sugar that your body needs
Right.
after a workout.
Right.
Anyway, this kid, though, said that he had made a brand. He was like in his 20s. He said to search for it on Amazon. And it was like, look for paleo electrolyte. So I was
Sweet.
like, oh, I'm going to check
Cool.
it out. But, I mean, there are a few others, but they're few and far between of ones that are good.
Right.
But I'm just thinking on a label. Food dyes,
Well,
dairy,
it goes-
your sugar. I mean, there's some basics you could avoid.
So
Artificial flavors.
here's the basics for reading a label. Okay. Number one, if it has more than 3 or 4 number one, if it has a label, a barcode, or an ingredient list, you need
it's
to
not
raise
gonna
your
be
eyebrow.
the
Right?
best.
That's not God food, that's man food if there's a bunch of stuff in there. So that's number one. But number two, if you pick it up and
You
there's
can't read it.
more than 3 or 4 ingredients, you probably ought to move on. Say, I'm thinking of like that. What is that? Teton Springs, my glizzies. What are they? Those Polish sausages. Is
It's like it's the grass-fed beef. I think
right?
it is.
Teton Water Springs or Teton Springs. I can't
You're
remember.
making
Sorry,
fun of me.
guys. We'll tag you in the thing and blah blah blah. But you read the ingredient list and it's literally grass-fed beef and like 4 spices.
Right. Same with the chicken sausages. I
Versus-
like. It's like organic chicken,
Yeah, but
organic
these
apple.
taste good though.
No, mine are so much better. Organic apple, celery, something else, which I think is interesting because it doesn't have to be packed full of preservatives. I
Right.
think a lot of people think that. Like, you can find some convenience food, because it's an argument we get a lot. Well, I do need convenience food sometimes. Great, just do a little homework. There are a few packaged foods that are convenient that still don't have all the chemicals in it.
Right.
You can find them.
So you compare my glizzies to Oscar Mayer.
Oh.
And it's night and day difference. So 3 or 4 ingredients, tops. Okay. The second one is being able to pronounce all of the ingredients. Like looking at it, you and I have quite a few postgraduate degrees together. And there's stuff on some of these labels that neither you or I, and you're a speech pathologist, and you still can't pronounce some of them. Because we don't, like, it's a chemical.
Right.
Like, just don't eat it.
But this is the other thing. Google is everybody's friend. Like, if you aren't sure, put that ingredient. If you don't have the app or whatever,
Just
fine.
get the freaking app. It's free.
I know, but you could also just Google calcium diphosphate
And see
and
what.
see what it is.
Yeah.
And then you can make your decision like, oh, okay, this is da 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 da, or whoa. Because some of it, I mean, comes up pretty fast.
Right.
What it's used for. I love when it's a food ingredient and it's literally like used in cement or used in like paint thinner. That has happened to me a few times.
And antifreeze.
Antifreeze.
See it all the time.
That's in the medicine.
Yeah.
There's like ingredients in like medicine you buy off the shelf at like a Walgreens or their grocery store. What is it?
Polyethylene glycol.
Yeah. So awesome.
Someone will call us out on that.
So it's probably wrong, but I'm just saying if you think Food Babe does a big one on silly putty, because I'm pretty sure Chick-fil-A has a few ingredients in theirs, and it's like she's like, that ingredient is actually in your silly putty. It's like, wow. So I mean, you could always use Google though.
Right.
It's like, just give yourself a little time, even if you like did it on a couple foods you ate a week. Like you don't have to like spend hours. I enjoy spending hours at the grocery store reading all the labels. I know you think like grocery store takes a long time, but even if you just said we're gonna change one food a week that like we searched out and found that it like actually has poor ingredients and found a substitute for it, or just said we actually don't even need to eat that. Like I have found a substitute for Doritos if our kid wants to have some chips. Because look at the label on a Doritos bag.
Oh, jeez.
It is literally, I want to count, but I bet there's like 42 ingredients.
I think actually last time I counted, I think it was like 27.
Okay.
There's a lot.
But
you compare that to Fritos, and I'm not endorsing Fritos by any means, but Fritos is literally corn oil, and salt. Now, corn, you may love corn. Corn definitely does not love you, but you compare that to.
But you have to be careful. That's only the plain ones. Because you get the barbecue Fritos, and you're back to...
Or my old favorite, the chili cheese.
The chili cheese.
Oh,
you're back to like 50 ingredients.
Yeah, it's...
Compared to Siete, there are a few more ingredients on their like barbecue chip or the Doritos like one. It's nacho cheese. But it's literally chili powder, cumin, oregano. I mean, it's like, oh, they're all spices I know. Why is it okay to use a real spice there, but like Doritos has to like manufacture some...
Because it saves money and increases profit.
Yeah, we're back to the money game.
That's all it is. Like, look, the sooner you guys realize that food companies and fast food companies literally put stuff in there to addict you so you keep buying it, and they're taking away your right to choose for money, that like the sooner you get to that realization,
it helps you make better
you're
choices.
going to start making better choices, and that's ultimately in the long run, that's what we want.
Right.
It's
See,
like,
you're liking the recliner.
I am.
That's kind of cool.
Actually, I sat like this through Mike's thing today.
Oh.
If you want to hear a cool story, we did record one about one of our patients that's 75. And I can't believe he's 75, by the way.
I know, he looks fantastic.
But he lost like 58 pounds. And he talks about reading labels in that. So that's I don't know which order I'm going to do, but there is a recording of him talking about the same principles. But anyway.
Because he was motivated to become educated and not just say, I'm going to do this, hold my hand through the 4 months, I'll lose my weight, then I'm done,
right.
And then I don't know what to do. So it's like, there's lots of good principles, right? So I think that label, like, use Google, take one thing a week. If you went through your fridge, right, or went in your pantry and just said, I'm gonna Google the ingredients of one item.
So I'm sitting here thinking, what can we challenge people to do this week? Okay. Here's what I challenge you to do: download the app. We get absolutely nothing. These people don't even know we exist.
Right.
Okay. Download the app and just go into your pantry and scan the barcode
of a couple things
on the app, and then send it to us.
Okay.
DM us, put it on our Facebook page, whatever. You're going to be shocked at the crap that companies put in your food.
Right. Then I think to add to the challenge, if it's less than good, because I won't even eat the good. I try not to even eat the good, but we'll give our teenager the good sometimes, just because it's hard to keep him fed, right? But I try to go for the excellent. There's excellent, good. There's poor. There's bad. Mm-hmm. And it color codes it too. And then there's tricks. Next level. But I'm just thinking, then have the courage, if it's poor or bad, to throw it away.
Do this with your kids too.
Right.
Show them.
Right. This is why we don't want to eat this. I just think, I read a quote one time. It's how many times do you hear a parent I would die for my child, but I literally won't not buy tricks for them. I mean, like, if you really break it down and think about it, like, if you really do care about your child, I mean, on some level, you have to care enough about what you're feeding them. And it is up to you as the parent. The child may whine. The child may throw a tantrum.
Real.
True.
They won't starve.
They're not going to starve. And you're helping them. Like, you're literally helping them. And I just think what we don't know, we don't know. So it's like, if you want your child to make good choices, it's up to us to teach them. And we are in control of what comes into the house as far as food.
Right.
Like, the 4-year-old's not, should not be in charge of what's in the pantry, even if they're having a tantrum in the grocery store. But if you also start it out right, it's hard now to shift. Like, oh, the kids are X old, now we have to make this shift. But what if you just started, we're having our first grandchild.
Right.
And excited to see that, like, wow, they can start feeding this little one. Like, the child doesn't have to know Kraft macaroni exists. They really don't.
No.
You can make them food that's not Kraft macaroni and cheese. They don't have to know Smiles fruit snacks are a thing.
Yeah, let's take the challenge one step further. Go to Walmart and scan Smiles fruit snacks.
Or any fruit snacks.
They're not fruit. Anyway.
Sometimes they're made with 100% real fruit juice. This is what you have to watch for. When I say read your label at the grocery store, it's actually the ingredient label, not the marketing campaigns on the front that say heart healthy, made with real fruit juice. Might have real fruit juice in there along with dyes. Like,
so
it doesn't always mean it's an
This is something we see all the time. Like, we're talking about reading food labels, right? People will actually send us labels. They'll take pictures and send them to us.
Right.
But what do they send a picture of?
The package.
The calorie content and the fat content.
Like the
and
nutrition facts.
That's not what we're after here. We're after what's underneath of that, what is actually in that quote unquote food.
Right.
And
usually it's not so good. Ben
Bickman says it best. As a barcode, as a package, it's probably not food.
Right, and it really isn't. On a rare occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, we do buy the chicken skewers at Costco that come in a package. You should take them out of the plastic package and put them in your glass Tupperware. I'm just saying.
Yes, you should.
I read a thing the other day about, I know I personally don't get rotisserie chickens from like the store.
Oh gosh.
But I didn't ever think about that they're in plastic under a heat lamp.
I saw that too. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm never having those again.
You know what the heat is doing to the plastic? It's the same reason you don't microwave in plastic. But, whoa. Scary.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
so if we're going to talk about, food labels help you make better food choices. And things like that, why we avoid certain ingredients. Because there's more to it than losing weight. I did have somebody ask me today, they said, well, if I fed my family this way, my kids are skinny. And I don't want my kids to lose weight. But I eat the weight loss program because I eat an autoimmune protocol, which is pretty similar. I don't have weight to lose, therefore I don't lose weight. So I really don't think people lose weight eating real food if you don't have weight to lose.
Right.
It's just if you have weight to lose, it's going to come off if you get rid of... You didn't gain your weight by eating the real food. You gained your weight by eating the other things. And
skinny has become sick. If you're skinny, people think you're sick.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so that's an interesting one. I'm trying to think what else. What else helps people make wellness choices? Because the object, right?
All this food.
Your stomach is gone? Well, how long has our fast been going? I mean, hey, it's 1 o'clock now.
It's been a while.
I'm thinking the weight loss program, but we're a wellness clinic, right? And we're wanting to help people improve wellness. So it's like, I'm trying to think of all sorts of other things that help people live well.
Right.
And there's more to that than, that's why we got into like our brain health and sleep. I talked to somebody today, right? Like, it's hard to lose weight if you don't sleep.
Yep. Yeah, it's impossible.
And so it's like, okay, so then what do I need to do to get good sleep? It's a psychological piece. It's what?
Watch, what's that show? Brooklyn Nine-Nine and drink Mountain Dew. That'll help you sleep.
Oh, yeah. I did.
Our neighbor does that.
I know, that sounds so awful. I wanted to be like, wait, sit down with me. Let me help you figure out how to sleep better.
Yeah.
Because everybody can learn to turn their brain off. Like it is possible to do it without like artificial means. But anyway.
It's the importance of meditation.
Meditation's key.
Yep. But we are totally rambling.
Hey, this was good, and I got a recliner, so I could keep going.
It is good, but here's what I think the next steps for us are, and I think we need to do a multiple-part series. We're going to write a multiple-part series on how to read a food label.
Ooh, I like this.
So look forward to that in coming episodes.
I like it. On everything or just food?
Starting with food, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Where we are guided.
Yes.
Put it out into the universe.
So there you go.
All right, sweet. So challenge.
Yep.
Take the app or your Google friend into your pantry.
Seriously, just get the app. Like, you take a picture of the barcode. Job is done.
Scan a few things.
And get back to us.
And throw it away.
Yep. And actually, we need a hashtag. Take a video of you throwing it away and put the hashtag don't eat trash.
Yeah. All right, there you
go.
Don't eat trash. Till next time.